Okay, so in the previous tutorial, we have added these pivot anim overrides and it's working properly. So the remaining part was basically we have added these two variables for stop cardinals and idle pause, but I haven't actually added those stuff at the anim graph level yet, right? Uh, and also, right now I don't see a requirement to override stop cardinals or the idle pause. But either way, I'll just add the features right now because it will be easy for us later on when we are covering such scenarios, right? So since these anim overrides are relevant to this topic, I'll continue those implementations alongside with these sessions, right? So it's quite easy. We have to do this somewhat similar thing what we have done for pivotal and cycle anim layers, anim states. So let's go to the locomotion graph. And so since we recently had this pivot stuff, so I'll copy the layer blends nodes from there. And let's go to the stop state and I'll use it here. Right. And here we don't need to use any override pivot cardinals. Instead, let's use stop cardinals. Also, instead of using this anim layer function, let's duplicate it and I'll make a stop anim layer function. And here, instead of pivot cardinals, let's use stop cardinals. Rest of the stuff we can keep as it is. And I'll go back to the stop state, and at the sequence evaluator, instead of using this update anim override pivot anim layer, let's use stop anim layer. Right, so it has been done. And similarly, let's copy this stuff and go to the idle state, and here let's use those stuff. And use this one, and instead of using this function, let's duplicate it and it says idle. Let's use the idle and other stuff as it is, and go back to the idle state, and at the sequence evaluator, instead of using stop anim layer, let's use idle anim layer. Right, and that's it. Plus I will organize these stuff a little bit so it will be much more clean. Right, now let's play test. Yeah, everything works properly, but it doesn't add or remove any new features because I just simply add those stuff to follow up with the implementation, right? So mainly my target was to implement the anim overrides for start, cycle and pivot states, but later on, like let's say we have a specific requirement to override the idle pause, then we can do that. Or if we need to override the stop pause, again we can do that because now we have the implementation, right? So the implementation is actually at the DT anim set. Since we follow the data driven pattern, all you have to do is implement your anim overrides in the required places like this, right? Like this. So currently it's empty, that's why it doesn't override anything. But let's say if you need to implement some override animation, then simply plug it to here and it will be applied. Okay, I think yeah, that's what I wanted to cover. Just a short video, it doesn't actually cover any important stuff, just a follow-up implementation. Right, so thank you, see you there.